Aikido is a traditional Japanese martial art of movement and power. Translated literally, Aikido means the way of unifying the fundamental energy of the universe. Its founder, Morihei Ueshiba, envisioned a system and philosophy of martial arts that transcended mere self-defense. Aikido, a true Budo or martial way, is not merely a science of techniques and tactics for self-defense, but a discipline for perfecting the spirit. The ultimate objective is the achievement of personal excellence, the development and refinement of a sensitive, balanced, and polished mind, body, and spirit. Aikido practice is cooperative rather than competitive, but training is robust and improves both mental and physical conditioning. Because Aikido does not rely on brute strength, but teaches how to blend with and safely neutralize an attack, Aikido practice is suitable for men, women, and children of all ages. Peachtree Aikikai is a traditional Japanese martial arts studio known as a dojo. When you first enter the dojo, the first thing you'll notice is that the room is quite empty. Yet each area of the room meets strict traditional dojo architecture. The shrine at the head of the practice mat is known as the tokonoma, and inside is a picture of Morihei Ueshiba, also known as O-sensei, the founder of Aikido. The tokonoma is located on the edge of the mat known as kamiza, or upper seat of the mat. The walkway to the changing room runs along the edge known as shimoza, or lower seat. The corner of the mat closest to the door is the place where all students enter and exit the mat. You're invited to come to Peachtree Aikikai and observe as many classes as you like before you join. When you enter Peachtree Aikikai, you may notice a sense of quiet serenity in the dojo, similar to a church. This space is highly charged with untold hours of effort towards the goal of personal improvement. You'll also notice that everyone wears a keiko-gi, or simply gi, during practice. Some individuals also wear what appear to be a skirt or long, dark blue pants. This is a traditional Japanese garment known as a hakama, and is worn by practitioners who have achieved their black belt in Aikido.
Get up against this, right? That's stopping it. I want for it to go this way, right?
Perhaps you're ready to join Peachtree Aikikai, but it's important to take a few basic steps in preparation for your first class. Personal hygiene is the very first step since Aikido is highly aerobic and a close contact activity. Trim your finger and toenails, and take off any jewelry to avoid accidentally scratching other students. Keep fragrances and makeup to a minimum. Try to wait at least 45 minutes after eating before you get on the mat, and make sure to drink plenty of fluids. The membership process at Peachtree Aikikai is easy. Simply complete the membership application at home, and bring it with you to your first class. If you paid online, be sure to bring your receipt. It's a good idea to come to your first class 15 minutes early so the instructor can process your application and start class on time. Give your application to the instructor, and he or she will provide you with your uniform and instruction on how to wear it. If the previous class is in session when you arrive and the instructor is on the mat, simply take a seat on the bench next to the shoe rack. The instructor will approach you as soon as class ends. At that time, the instructor will take your membership application and answer any questions you might have. You'll receive your gi. It will be stiff, but it will soften over time. It may seem large, too, but it will shrink to fit. The instructor will assist you in the proper way to wear your gi. Students enter the mat at the shimoza, or the lower seat of the mat. Bow to the tokonoma and proceed onto the mat. Students generally refrain from talking on the mat as they focus their attention on movement and learning. You are welcome to stretch before the start of class, but to lay down on the mat to rest is generally frowned upon. As the instructor moves towards the mat, students will line up facing the tokonoma. Students line up in order of rank, with advanced students closer to the weapons rack. As the newest student, you'll take your place at the end of the line closest to the shimoza. Over time, new students will take their place to your left. Students will bow at the instructor to the tokonoma, and then the instructor and students will bow to each other, saying, "Onegai shimasu." This is a sign of respect. The instructor will typically lead the students in a few minutes of vigorous warm-up exercises. Some of the stretches may seem foreign to you, as many of them originated in martial arts. In your first few classes, pay close attention to form, making sure that you're performing these exercises correctly. Don't feel pressure to perform all of these exercises perfectly. Do what feels right for you. Once the warm-up period is over, the instructor will ask students to line up and will then begin instruction by demonstrating a technique. The typical class consists of the instructor demonstrating a technique a few times, with students then pairing off to practice the technique on their own. You may work with any other student regardless of their rank, and since you're new, feel free to introduce yourself. Always let the student with the higher rank throw first. The person performing the technique is called nage, and the attacker is called uke. Nage will practice the technique on uke 4 times, alternating left and right each time. Then the students switch uke and nage roles. The instructor will walk the mat as you throw, offering tips on improving your technique. If a technique is entirely unclear to you after a few attempts, ask the instructor for additional demonstration, or seek the help of others who are wearing a hakama. These are your teachers and mentors on the mat. Feel free to approach anyone in a hakama for answers to questions or for clarification on an Aikido technique. When the instructor demonstrates a technique on your practice partner, sit in seiza on the edge of the mat and listen attentively. Even if the instructor is assisting your partner, pay close attention for reasons of safety and respect, and to get the most out of your practice. The practice of taking a fall, known as ukemi, is a very important part of Aikido. Since you are a new student, the instructor is likely to focus your efforts on front rolls and back rolls to prepare you for more vigorous training in the future. If you haven't practiced gymnastics in a while, rolling may make you feel a bit queasy. That will pass in a few minutes and disappear completely after a few classes. If you find yourself feeling more than a bit dizzy, take a short break and then resume your practice. It's best to try to avoid leaving the mat during class, and if you must do so, be sure to get permission from the instructor for reasons of etiquette and safety. At the end of class, the instructor will ask students to line up, just as you did at the start of class. You should straighten your gi, making sure it is not disheveled as a result of practice. The instructor will turn to the tokonoma, and students and instructor will bow together. The instructor will then turn to the students. The instructor and students will bow to each other in appreciation for their attendance, saying "Arigatou gozaimasu," which means thank you in Japanese. Students remain in line while the instructor leaves the mat first, and students then bow one last time to the tokonoma. The final act of class is to bow to the students that you practiced with in appreciation for their practice. You may leave the mat at the shimoza, bowing to the tokonoma just before you step off the mat. The final task is cleanup. Each student grabs a broom or a duster and helps to leave the dojo cleaner than they found it. This practice is more than simple cleanliness. It's a chance to take a moment to reflect on what you learned in class and to take ownership of this very special place. You've probably noticed several mentions of bowing in this short video. Bowing is not an act of worship or subservience, but of respect and gratitude. Students bow to each other before pairing off to practice a technique. Students bow to their instructor both before and after class as a show of thanks for volunteering their time to provide instruction. Students bow to the tokonoma as an expression of appreciation for the countless practitioners who came before them, and were generous with their instruction. The practice of bowing may seem foreign at first, but after a few classes it will become second nature to perform this simple but very important action. Etiquette plays a very important role in Aikido. As a new student, you pay as much attention to etiquette as you do to Aikido techniques. An early commitment to good etiquette is the foundation for a lifetime of strong Aikido practice. Etiquette is all around you in the dojo. As a new student, you are given a great deal of leniency pertaining to etiquette. As a general rule, you should emulate the behavior of the more advanced students as your guide. After a few weeks, you'll be right at home and you'll discover that etiquette is not simply esoteric tradition, but a powerful tool to help you gain greater insight into your Aikido practice. So let's do a quick review. Go to www.peachtreeaikikai.com for the class schedule and feel free to come and watch as many classes as you like. When you're ready to join, return to peachtreeaikikai.com and complete the membership process. Wash up, trim your nails, and drink lots of water. Then come on in and let the instructor know that you're ready to roll. The students and instructors of Peachtree Aikikai look forward to practicing Aikido with you. And we'll see you on the mat.